good evening, and ta-ra! After the surprising success of my last review, I thought I'd do another one. I want to start doing these more. Same sort of format. There's gonna be a bit of gameplay in the background, and I'm just gonna talk to you about the game. So, as you can see in the title, I'm going with Ghost of Tsushima today. Tsushima. Very sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but this game is beautiful. It is one of the best looking games on the PlayStation, or even on PC, because it is currently on PC. And it blows me away that a game like this can be this good looking. And this comes from somebody who absolutely loves God of War. God of War and this have both incredible art design, whereas God of War is more mystical. This is more down to earth, and it works. It really does. The reed fields as you run through look phenomenal, and there are moments where I'll just stop and just stand and just look out at the beautiful playground of country that you think. I should probably also start on with the story of Ghost of Tsushima. So, Ghost of Tsushima, from now on, I'm going to just call it Ghost, just because I am British, I can't speak any other language. Ghost's story, you follow Jin at the start of the Mongolian invasion on a small island called Tsushima, I think. Oh, I'm probably getting that wrong. And you basically are sort of the start of the ninja, as you use tactics and use techniques that the samurai wouldn't use, but you need to use them. And there's this sort of morality that Jin has to go through, breaking his code and his ethics to become something that is needed to push back the invader of the Mongolians. And it's such a really nice, simple story for a game like this. And you have some really nice characters and some really lovely little character arcs with him accepting that he needs to do this thing, and the other characters sort of teaching him. And he also has two lives because he is a lord and he is classed as a samurai, and going against the samurai ethics is not like respected. It seemed really downplayed, and even his uncle, who is one of the main characters, actually disowns him for a little bit because of these techniques he doesn't agree on. And I think it's an incredible, interesting story, steeped in rich history and just respect for the culture. And Sucker Punch have really designed a really nice thing, and a lot of the side quests are really interesting, as well as like the side stories with the other characters. I think one of my favorite characters is the Straw Hat Crew, which Straw Hat Crew, One Piece. The Straw Hat Crew, which is like a bunch of mercenaries who you team up with, and you meet his leader, and he's like an old friend of Jin, Jin, actually, weirdly enough, is one of the weaker points of the game. Even though he has this morality and stuff, I find everything around him more interesting than him himself. But I think that works to make the island its own character, because it is, the island is a character in itself, and it works so well. So, one of the main things about this game is combat. Combat in this game is fluid, flashing, gory, proper brutal style. With your different style, when you're fighting, you actually have different styles of fighting in the stances. So you have one that specifically targets like shield bearers, one that specifically targets spear users, and the one of them that targets the big bulk brute dudes. And this makes the combat really fluent, and you have to make sure, do you want to take these guys on, or who do you target first? But that's not all. There is a stealth part to this game, which is one of the best stealths I've managed to play. And for somebody who hates stealth in games, I try and stealth my way through a lot of this game because it's so satisfying to sneak up to an opponent and stab him in the back. And what helps is just the flashes of gore that gets flung out. Very old Japanese samurai movie where if they got slashed with a katana, there'd just be a splurt of blood, which makes me giggle and smile just profusely. There's also a small charm you can unlock that makes that even more prevalent. Especially when you have the filter that you can change in the settings where you have it as a black and white movie. And if you put it as a black and white movie, black and white thing, and have the Japanese voice acting, it's just an old samurai movie, which is so cool. I played most of this game through in English, but I have played it in Japanese, and I think both of the voice cast is superb. I think they've got a really good knack for characters. It can, with the English voice acting, it can be a little bit flat, but I think that's just the general of how translating a lot of these words and stuff, a lot of these sentences don't really translate to English, and I do think they should have tweaked it a little bit. But overall, I didn't find any problems with the voice cast. Music as well. Let's go on to music. Music in this game is just, it fits the time. There isn't any stupid hip-hop regenerations of these things. There's a lot of piping, a lot of pipe work, a lot of string instruments, you know, sort of music that would fit the time period. You wouldn't hear too much out of like an old samurai movie or an old play back in the time when this was set. I should probably talk about some of the things that I didn't enjoy this game. I'm trying to think now. There wasn't much about this game I didn't like. I think the traversal is really fluent and really nice. You feel like you can put Jim where you want when you jump. Oh, that's a thing. Yeah. So it has a sort of auto lock on to like objects when you jump, and that sometimes if two items are like close together, it sometimes gets a bit confused, but I've never been killed by it. It just mostly when I'm traveling around, I'm trying to climb up things, it was like I want to jump here, but I end up jumping there, and it not enough for me to for the game to be ruined by it, but it is something that may annoy you now and again. Oh, and with the combat, there isn't any manual lock-on, which I think this game needed quite a lot, because there was a few times where like, I want to be targeting this guy, but I'm looking over there, and you have a bit of a problem with targeting people. But that's where a lot of your gear will come into, like your smoke bombs and your shurikens, just to sort of help you move around the battlefield as you take on the Mongolian invasions. The armor and the customization in this game is actually phenomenal. A lot of the armors look really cool, and they all have benefits to be wearing them. Kind of Monster Hunter in that sense, like if you have this armor set, you'll gain more health or this, and your charms as well. I wish there was more to the charms, because a lot of the time I just forgot that I unlocked a lot of the charms and never actually changed out the charms that I had. I think I used them like the common charms through the whole game without even realizing I had legendary charms that could have made my life a little easier. I think maybe a little bit of a visual indication that you should be maybe upgrading them or getting them better. Trying to think what else I can talk about this game, because I'm currently also replaying the game as well, because I wanted to replay it, especially with Assassin's Creed Shadows and the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei, coming out later this year. I thought I'd go back to playing a game that I really enjoyed, and sort of getting a reminder of how this sort of gameplay should be, or this story should be told, because I think this is the definitive ninja and samurai game, because you have two playstyles. You have the Ghost. You can play through this game with like stealth and never combat a person unless it's like mandatory, because there are a few fights that are mandatory and you do need to fight. Or you can be the honorable samurai and walk into battle and go do the sort of, when there's like multiple enemies, you sort of put your sword down and sort of quick draw into like 4 or 5 of them. That looks really cool, and then they all drop at the same time. Very animes. I know I just said it's very realistic, but there are moments where it can get a little bit goofy. But and also the foxes are adorable. If you don't go like search for the foxes, they're cute as anything else. But yeah, this game I just loved. I genuinely think this is one of the best games to come out of the PS4, and when it got a remake to PS5 and the expansion, made even better. If you've not played Ghost of Tsushima, I definitely highly invite you. I highly recommend you go and play this game because of just how much fun it is and how much of just an awesome experience it is. And missing out on this, I think you'll just never be able to play anything like this again. Even though we've got the sequel of Yote coming out, that could be a completely different experience, because it seems to be more, you've got a dog and swords. So 1 in 100. And after the current gameplay of the new Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm not confident that's going to have the same experience and the same sort of what I'm looking for in it that this game can't provide. And hopefully I'm wrong. Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be a different beast entirely, and I am going to look at it. I was a bit hesitant, but I am going to look at it. I think I should give it a fair chance, but that's for another time. We're talking about this thing. So final thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima is amazing combat, amazing story, amazing visuals. I'm not going to, with these videos, I'm not going to bother rating them because rating's stupid, and I end up just rating everything like 10. There would be like no fucking point to it. But again, it's an amazing game, amazing thing. You could probably pick it up dirt cheap at the moment on the PlayStation Store. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and ta-ra.